questions.
Thank you, Mr. Fehrenbach. Before, I don't know if there will be other questions, but there are a couple of comments I do want to make. One is thank you for the update and the heads up that you gave us regarding the $380,000 on the demolition for the church. As I mentioned back on our last budget meeting, that was an oversight. We did not do a verification of the funds. That is an oversight and administrative oversight that we acknowledged, as I think you know, you were here at that meeting. We acknowledged openly that it was an oversight, and in fact, that's why we're having the budget amendment discussion in a few minutes. So as far as your other comments related to the union, we have every intention of complying with reporting requirements. As you probably know, there is no specific time frame for us to file. So we are working on that. That is, again, something that is high on our priority list. I will say that we've been extremely busy fixing things that have been challenges for us over the first few months of this administration. So I appreciate you bringing things to our attention and to bring it to the public's attention. I can certainly go through an itemized list of the many things that we've been working on to correct. And I'll say finally, your estimates of what the appropriate wage adjustments should have been are, we will beg to disagree, and we will back up the numbers that we negotiated with the union very readily. What's most disconcerting to me is that you were part of the administration that took 2 years and still did not complete those negotiations. So it's easy to throw stones, Mr. Fehrenbach, but I would appreciate the side of you where you have offered assistance, and I would appreciate it if you will continue to do that in the future. Thank
May I
you.
respond?
Please do.
Public sector negotiations, in which I have been involved for at least the last 45 years, involve a request by a union and a position by management. We did a major cost out in advance of those negotiations, of which, as you said, I was a part. Those calculations indicated a limit to which we believe the organization could not go without putting an undue burden on the taxpayer. It also related to our research on what settlements were within this region of Monmouth County and what would be reasonable numbers. The demands from the union were always significantly exceeding that. It was because of the union's response to every proposal the municipality made of no, that it ended up taking as long as it did. When one provides the other side something close to or exactly the same as to what they're seeking, negotiations go very quickly. In terms of the problems that existed previously, you're right. We made significant efforts, and you know that you and I had discussions, and I sent you emails. I had discussions with Mr. Gartz in an attempt to be able to bring you together, because the benefit there would have been if you would have had a continuous CFO from 2024 into 2025, you would have been able to have had the AFS done much more quickly. You would have been able to have the issues that existed at the end of 2024 between Mr. Gartz and Mr. Oliwood, the auditor, resolved. But when there ended up being new personnel, and we are now on our second CFO since Mr. Gartz was here, it is then extremely difficult to be able to figure out under which shell the P is located.
And thank you again, Mr. Fehrenbach. I will, yeah, please stay there. I will respond that you are exposing your ignorance as it regards Mr. Gartz. I had no opportunity to keep Mr. Gartz on. I did attempt to do so. I'm not going to speak about Mr. Gartz beyond that. But to assume that was an option available to me is incorrect. The other assumption that you're making is that yours and the prior mayor's assumptions were accurate and ours are not. I believe our assumptions underlying the union contract were accurate. And if yours were even close to accurate, you probably would have concluded an agreement in a 2-year time frame. So we're going to agree to disagree. I am more than happy to talk to you about the union contract, and I'll share as much data as you need to see. But other than I appreciate your open comments to the public and to this council, you and I are going to have to agree to disagree.
I would appreciate being able to see that. Just as I had indicated, I would very much enjoy being able to see the 2025 surplus rebuilding analysis. But I will also say to you that having been a monitor for the transitional aid program for the state of New Jersey, one of the things that is strongly advocated and is carried out in many, many municipalities is that the cost out is done before the offer is made. It's not calculated after the negotiations are concluded. You are correct that there is not a time limit on the cost out, but clearly one didn't exist if I had been waiting 3 months on a Oprah request to be able to see the PERC cost out.
There is no formal cost out filed yet. As I mentioned, cost out with all its data was completed in advance of the negotiation. And because you don't have it, doesn't mean it doesn't exist. We are working on completing the filing, and when that is done, you will be the first to receive it.
Thank you very much.